Good afternoon, YouTubers. I've been playing with my air rifles and things, and I've been watching videos on the internet. I have actually taken this. This is my telescopic sight that came free with my air rifle, and a very similar thing happened. I when I was a boy, I'm going back to the early 1970s now. I'll be a teenager in my early teens, and I bought an air rifle, and I had a better air rifle. I bought a BSA Meteor, and it came with a telescopic sight, which wasn't very good. It was a cheap, nasty one like this one, which was all right, and I sort of played with it for a bit, but then I just took it off because I just thought, well, it's just a bit of a gimmick, isn't it? And I took it off, and that's precisely what I've done with my air rifle. I've got a Crossman Shockwave. Came free with this. This is a Crossman cheap telescopic sight, which they give away for free with the gun. Probably aids the selling of the guns. Probably sell better with the telescopic sight because they do look good. You lock down them, you can tune them, you can zero them. They're all right. But I prefer the iron sights, for what I do, and the range I'm shooting at with an air rifle, for goodness sake. You're not even shooting 100 yards, are you? I just felt I wanted to take it off. I just felt I'd rather just use the iron sights. So that's me. I've taken them off. So I'll be giving them away if anybody wants them. They're not very good. They're only a cheap. You can see through them. They've got covers, front and back, and what are they? 4x32 centre point, and it's on a quite a close. I don't know. It's not a Picatinny rail. It's a narrow. The grooves on the top of the air rifle. Anyway, if you want them, let me know in the comments, and I'll send them to someone. I've been looking also at stuff that's coming out of Ukraine, information. Now, as you know, I'm not a big fan of warfare, as you know, but it's always something that's interested me, and I'm particularly interested to see the way drones are developing. We've all played with drones. Fiona had a drone 10 years ago, one of the AR2 drone. We've still got it. It's on display. It doesn't work anymore, but we've got it on display. But since those days, drones have come on really, really well, and they're using them in warfare. I've noticed the Ukrainians in particular have been buying loads of these commercial drones for like $300 each, and they've been adapting them to drop hand grenades. I mean, at first they were like spying on the enemy, seeing where they were, which is a great idea because these drones you can fly them from a position of safety in a trench somewhere. You can fly them along. You can find out where the enemy is, note it all down, and then tell the artillery, and that gives them somewhere to bomb. But they've evolved from that. First of all, they made little grabs on the bottom so they can drop hand grenades on enemy soldiers, and they can drop hand grenades on enemy tanks as well. They can fly through the hatch into the tank and drop the grenade. And so for a drone that's less than let's just say less than $1,000, you can take out a tank which might cost a couple of million. I don't know how much tanks cost, but I mean, they're not cheap. So they were saying that the tank has been reduced to an artillery piece, hiding in the wood with a big net over it, so the drones can't get to them, and all they're using them for is artillery. Now, that's a very expensive artillery piece. It can't go out in the open because the drone will get it. Now they've even brought out bigger drones, more expensive ones, that can carry an anti-tank mine. They're really nasty anti-tank mines, very, very powerful in a close area, and they can knock tanks out. Obviously, that's what they're designed to do. But you drop an anti-tank mine on personnel, you're going to cause a lot of damage indeed. And I was particularly interested to see that these guys have now got VR headsets. You've seen my VR channel. It's called the Baron Flying Club. I've got VR headset, Oculus Quest 2, I think it is, and well, I know it is, and flight sim program. So I'm flying all kinds of different aeroplanes and helicopters and things around the country. But that's the future. That is the future of combat aviation. You will be able to. So you think it's just a game. It's not. It's not. Your kids, if they want a future in the military as a pilot, tell them to get a VR headset and flight sim program with a joystick, because that's going to be the way it's going to go in the future. I can see. I mean, I've been flying this Sea King helicopter around. It's great. It's a really nice helicopter to fly, and I've been flying it all over the UK. But in the future, I dare say, they may become pilotless. So all your commandos get in the back, and the helicopter goes in, drops them off, and gets out again. And there's absolutely no fear involved for the pilot, because if he loses the helicopter, they get a new helicopter. And of course, there's not all the case with the commandos in the back, because obviously you've got responsibility to them to get them in and out safely if you can. But you're always going to need troops on the ground. You're never going to surpass that problem. But who wants to be a troop on the ground when you've got drones dropping grenades on you and things like this? And there are missiles available that can shoot these drones down, but the drone costs like between $300 and $1,000, and the missiles cost millions. So you can see the flaw in that plan. So they're going to want a better way of knocking them out, and of course they're thinking of jamming signals so the drones can't operate in certain areas because the signals have been jammed. So that's where the autonomous drone comes in. You can program it, to return to base if it loses the signal, and it's constantly evolving all the time. It's fascinating. We've gone from Predator drones, which were amazing, Predator and the Reaper drone series, which the military still use. And originally they were for surveillance with very, very expensive cameras in them. But nowadays they've got missiles and bombs and shit, and they can take out targets and things. They've been doing that for a long time. So that is the future. That is the future. And it's a very serious training aid, the VR headset, and the. So maybe I need to focus more on that and teaching people how to do it. Because that will be the future. I can see. Well, I've said it all along, and people have poo-pooed it and said, "Oh, bollocks! It'll never happen. There'll always be a pilot in the cockpit." Well, there won't. There really won't. And I can see helicopters and drones being more effective on the battlefield than your fighter plane. Your fighter plane will be doing a different job. But again, the fighter plane is limited to the pilot. Pilot can't pull 9G. Okay, whereas a drone could pull 20G and it wouldn't care. So the pilot is the weakest link, isn't he? So he or she is going to be removed from the cockpit before too long, and drones will be taken over. So the best way to get learning all about flying is to get a gaming PC and a VR headset and a joystick, and away you go. And get yourself into the drone program, because that is definitely the way forward for combat aviation, especially in the battlefield situations. Soldiers. It's I'm lost for words really, because soldiers. You need soldiers. You can't have an army without soldiers, but they are so vulnerable now with the drone technology coming up. I mean, they've always been vulnerable. They used to be called cannon fodder, didn't they? But the technology is getting worse and worse all the time. The weapons are getting even more and more deadly. So who wants to be a soldier on a battlefield, for goodness sake? It's a very dodgy place to be. Anyway, that's my little video for today. So don't forget to like and subscribe to my Flight Sim channel if you like it. It's called Baron Flying Club. And for anyone who's interested in a career in the military, I would strongly recommend, take a look at that channel, have a look at some of the things I get up to, and then go and do it yourself, because it's really good training, hands-on experience. Helicopters are a perfect drone, aren't they? And if you're steering it with a VR headset, you can turn your head and everything. You can see around. That technology can take out tanks. It really is a reality on the battlefield today in the Ukraine. Think about it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Ring the bell, etc., etc., etc.